Ready?
Ready.
What are we gonna say?
My name is Sam Prince, and this is my beautiful wife, Heidi Prince, and we are your chefs today.
Hello, and welcome to the one and only Camp Lone Star Barbecue Pit. Today, we are going to teach you how to make hobo stew. Here we've got all the ingredients that we will need today to make the hobo stew. But first, let's talk about what hobo stew is.
If you've been to camp before, you may have had hobo stew, you may be familiar with it. It's a pretty common campfire meal, but it's something here that Heidi and I personally really enjoy. So traditional hobo stew is really just kind of like this mixture of meat and veggies that's sort of stewed over coals on a campfire. The basics usually are your potatoes and your onion and your carrots, along with your ground meat. Technically, ground turkey is not following the recipe. What you usually use is ground beef, but you really can modify this with any kind of meat you'd like to. And we'll get into more modifications later. That's kind of the basics, but what's great about this meal is how simple it is and how easy it is to just do different variations, to kind of switch things up. Like for us, we had some kale in our fridge, and we personally really enjoy kale with a lot of different meals, and so we thought, hey, that might be kind of good to throw in there. So we're going to throw in some kale. We also like a little bit of a Tex-Mex flavor, so we're going to throw in some jalapeno. And the bell pepper, we also just had that in the fridge, and so that's what's kind of nice about this meal is you can kind of switch things up however you like.
And next we've got our sauces, some ketchup. Personally, we've got some Whataburger spicy ketchup, but you can use whatever ketchup you like. And we've got some regular old yellow mustard. And next we've got some seasonings. Salt and pepper, always a good option. And we've got Tony's. Alright, so the very first step, once you've gotten your ingredients together, anything that you would like to put in your hobo stew, is to chop the veggies. So, we're going to start doing that now. The key is, you want to chop them up.
Kind of dice.
Yeah, kind of dice them up pretty small, that way they cook faster. One more important thing that you want to make sure you do is be sure to wash your veggies before you chop them up so that they're nice and clean, so that we can throw them into the hobo stew before it's ready to cook. These are already pre-washed, so we're good to go. I'm going to chop the jalapeno, and because it's spicy I like to wear a glove because I don't want, you know, spicy stuff to get all over my fingers and then the spicy fingers to get on my eyeballs.
Welcome back. We got our veggies all chopped up, beautifully done. Thank you very much, Heidi. Now it's time for our cooking vessel. So, alright, so for the vessel of cooking, you're going to need a sheet of foil, something like this, something a little smaller. I would say thicker foil is probably a little bit better because it's going to be right on some hot coals. What you're going to do, now is where you need to pay attention. So you're going to take the foil and you're going to fold it in half. I guess that would be hot dog style. I mean, if it's a square, it doesn't really matter. But hot dog style if it's a rectangle. Okay? Fold it in half. So now you have the beginnings of this little pouch. It's kind of like a little foil taco right now, okay? But we don't want stuff leaking out. So we need to seal the edges of the pouch. So you're gonna start by going on one of the shorter, open edges. Does that make sense? So short edge, and it's open. And we're gonna just fold it over once, and then we're gonna fold it over again. Now that creates that airtight seal. Another one just to be safe, because this is kind of a weak point down here, this seam on the bottom of the taco. Just do a fold there. That'll just kind of double up the foil layer, create a little bit of a better seal. So now you can see, if we pick up our little pouch, we have this like pita pocket of foil. Yeah? Pretty cool right there. Woo! It's getting warm. So, if you're at home and you're with your parents, of course, and you're doing this over a fire, please be very careful if you're using a fire. But for a fire, see, if you look here, it's still kind of got some logs, so we need to kind of let that burn down. But if you're not capable of cooking this over a fire, that is completely fine, because you can still make this. You can make it on a charcoal grill or a gas grill. You still do the same thing with the packets. This is a very simple meal, and it's a very easy thing to do that's really delicious, and you can find a way to do it, I promise. So, our fire is very close, it's almost ready, but while we wait, we're gonna go ahead and do the fun part of this meal.
Let's start filling our packets. Now before we put our hobo stews on the fire, we need to make sure that we seal our packet really well. So how we're going to do that is, just like we folded over these seams on the sides and the bottom, we're just going to do the same thing at the tops.
So you get this nice little bed of coals for your little meat and veggie pillows to lay on. So we're going to let those sit about 15 minutes aside. A lot of it depends on how big your packets are, how hot your fire is. Our packets are really big, but our fire is pretty hot, so we should be okay. Be very careful. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Wow, look at that. That is amazing. This is very hot, so be very careful when you're opening it. But we're gonna go ahead, tear it open and take a peek inside. Wow. Okay. Potatoes are a good test. Oh yeah. Thank you all so much for joining us on this recipe video. We had a lot of fun getting to show you how to make hobo stew. And please let us know if you make it at home with your family. Send us a picture or a comment below, something like that. Let us know. We hope you all have a great Wednesday.